Hello, it's Crafty Carol here again with yet another project. And last time I showed you with this gorgeous Cottage Rose suite and the matching dies how to make this beautiful card. And today I'm going to show you how to make this gift bag that goes with it. So for this gift bag you will need, bring it all in, a strip of designer series paper. This is the Abigail Rose designer series paper. Just beautiful patterns on it. Don't know which to have on the outside or the inside, but I think I'm going to go with this on the outside because it'll match the card better. You need a roughly 18-inch piece of ribbon, matching ribbon. I've used the same ribbon as I used on the card. And then you're going to need two pieces of card, piece of petal pink and a piece of basic white, which are both 11 centimetres by 5 centimetres. Then a scrap of basic white for your flower, which I should have cut out before I started, but I will do that in a minute. So we've got the flower ready. And then I've also cut out using some of the dies from this set. So the dies are just gorgeous. So there's a lovely flower die, single flower die, a double flower die, leaves, flower head, sort of petal things. Beautiful dies, and I've cut out a number of those just to give myself, out of gold foil, just to give myself some decorations to put everything together. So I'm going to show you a very, very simple bag to make. So we're going to start off by making the tags, and I'm just going to go out and cut the flower, and I will be back very soon. And just a little note actually about the dies. When I first looked at the set, I thought, oh, there's no die for this particular flower stamp. That's a bit odd. But actually there is. It's part of this larger die. And as you can see, it cuts that out beautifully. And this die matches one of the sheets of designer series paper too. So you can get a lot out of that die. I've seen some lovely cards made using it as a silhouette as well. Anyway, we're not using it like that today. We're just using it for this. So let's start off by making the tag bits. So for the tag, I'm just going to use my scallop tag punch, and I'm going to punch each of the cards. Ooh, a little bit of a mark on that one. Let me just get rid of that. I think it's a bit of glue, it usually is. I'm very good at putting glue on there. Never mind, I can always use the other side. So I'm going to slide that in and just do it off the DP, punch that, and the same with the piece of white, put that in, punch that down. So we've got two scalloped tag ends. So the next stage is I want to round the corners of those as well. So I've got an old corner rounder here, which I'll just use. I'm not sure if there is now a corner rounder as well in one of the three-pronged punches that you can get from Stampin', but I haven't got it, so still have to use my old corner rounder. But it just neatens up the edges, so that looks better. So we're going to stamp on the front here, and I'm going to stamp the greeting, and I'm going to use the best wishes from this set. So I'll just use that, and I'm going to match it through. So I'm going to use let's reach it over. I'm going to use my old, actually, smoky slate ink pad and just ink that up, and we're just going to stamp on the bottom of the tag. So put it there. That's why I like to do the rounding first, so I know exactly where I can then put the sentiment and make it right. So that is that. Let me put this back in. Die's falling off, I'll sort them out later. And put my ink pad away. So now I have my flower to go on here, and I'm just going to use a couple of the die cut leaves behind it as well. So I'm going to stick the flower on with dimensionals. So I'll just put a couple of dimensionals on the back of that, and we'll have it in the middle. Why not? Put it in the middle. And then for these, I'm just going to put a little dab of Tombow on the back of these. Now, when I do this on craft alongs, I often do it very messily because I use the back of my hand and stick it on. I could show you that. I just basically put a little bit of glue on the back of my hand, and then I can use this just to dab the ends of these in, so I can make sure I've got glue without trying to put little dots everywhere, which just doesn't work. So I'm going to have one that side and a little dab again. We'll have this one. I should use my tweezers, I think, to get that in. Just there, I think. So, whoops, it's come off again. Sticky. There we go. use a non-sticky finger to press it down, that might work. There we go. So that is the tag put together, just using the 2 little die cuts and the gold embossed and then painted flower. If you want to know how to do that, that's in my previous Cottage Rose video, and I showed you how to use just ink and an aqua painter to get that effect. So I won't go over it again there. And so just to complete the tag, I'm going to use a little bit of fast fuse, just a little go, there we go, a little bit of fast fuse just across the top of it, because I want the tags to be just a little bit offset, but I don't want them to flap around in the breeze. So if I put a little bit of fast fuse on, I can just offset those tags a little bit on one on top of each other, and then you've got that double layered tag ready. Okay, so let's get into making the actual bag. So let me just fetch out. Now, let's see if I can actually get this in view, hopefully. So we're going to start on the long side, and this scoreboard is just so useful for these sorts of things. Hopefully you can see it all. I think, if I move it across, yeah, I think that's all in shot. So we're going to score this on this long side, and I'm going to use my smaller thing, and I'm going to score it at, just score it actually on the side I want to bend away from. I just prefer doing it that way. So I'm going to score it at 1.5, and then at 5 3/4, and then at 7 1/4. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it's Sam Hammond's bag that I based this on. Can't remember, but if it is, thank you very much, Sam. And then finally at 11.5. And then we're going to turn it round. Now, if you've got a directional paper, make sure that your direction is pointing over to the right-hand side of the scoreboard, and then score at 1.5 all the way down. So there we go. So that's the scoring done. I don't know if you can see that too well in there, but hopefully it's very obvious. And then we're going to do just a little bit of cutting. So I get my paper snips. And the first thing I'm going to cut is just going to cut this. This is the closure tab. So we're just going to cut off this bottom rectangle, I suppose it is. Like that. And I'm also just going to miter the very top of that tab. So from the crease, just cut off the tiniest little triangle just to shape it a little bit. So when we've done that, I'm also going to cut up these other 3 score lines just up to the horizontal score line that we made. So I'll do that very quickly. It's important to try and get it even, because otherwise the bag's going to look a bit messy when it's closed. You can miter these slightly if you want, but actually it closes quite well without. So there we have those 3 cut, and now we're just going to fold and burnish all of these scores. So as you fold the paper over, just make sure it's lining up at the top here before you then use your bone folder just to make sure that line's perfectly creased. The same with this one. When I fold it over, I want to make sure it's exactly lined up. Right, and it should be right on that score line, yes, and then I can crease like that. And we can do the same with the other 2 crease marks, so make sure it's exactly lined up at the top. See, that isn't quite there. There we go. Then I can crease it with my bone folder, and then finally just turn in this tab, which isn't quite so exact, it's not quite so bad. Then I'm going to fold up all of these base bits, again making sure that it's fitting properly between the folds, because otherwise it'll look skew-iff when we actually finish the bag itself. This one the same, making sure it's nice and even. I suppose I could have done this before I cut it, but hey, it's always easy to be wise after events, isn't it? And then the final one. We just need to make sure again that the edges are straight and exact. So that is it, and basically then it's all about putting the bag together. So I'm going to fold over that piece, and then this is my tab I'm going to stick. So I'm going to use some tear and tape. I've actually got a wider thing here. I don't know, well, it's an old one I've had for ages, but it just fits these 1/2-inch tabs beautifully. So I'm just going to tear that and fit it down there. And then get my pokey tool just to take the edge off there. And then, because I've already lined it up here so it's exact, I can then fold this piece over and I know that I've got it exact down that crease. So that is the basis of my box. So that join there is going to be at the back, and therefore I want to fold this long piece in first when I'm making the base, because I want the fold coming from the front to it, then it won't show this bit at the back. I hope that's fairly obvious. So to do that, I'm just simply going to use a bit of Tombow on these side panels. Oops. And on this side panel. So I'm going to fold those in first, down onto there, and then I'm going to put Tombow on this back panel and fold that over. And if we've got our creasing all done beautifully, then we have what I have here, which is a beautiful rectangular bag. Well, you say, that doesn't look like a bag, it's just like an open box. Well, don't worry. I'm just going to press that down using the end of my bone folder, just so that it's nice and stuck together. So now to make the bag itself, just going to squeeze in at the sides and then squeeze together. So I hope you can see that. I'm just pushing in the middle of the sides, squeezing together, making them as even as I can, and then I'm just going to run my fingers about 2/3 of the way down the bag. And what that does, it just folds at the sides here. Can you see that? So it makes it come together as a bag. Now, next thing I can do is I've got some more of these die cuts I can stick down. So I haven't got much glue left on there, I'll put a bit more on. And then I'm just going to stick those on the front to make some decoration. And then I'll show you how we do the handles for the bag. So I'm just going to dab a little bit of glue on there and we'll stick that in the middle at the front. I stuck this on before I made the bag together, I suppose. That might have been sensible, but hey. When did I ever have any sense? Not very much, my mum will say. I'll stick that one there. And then finally this one with the remaining not very bit of sticky on my hand. I'm just going to stick that one near the bottom there. Oop. Just to overlap a little bit. If I'm sensible, I could actually put a block in there. I could press down on that and hold it down better. There we go. Make sure those are stuck on. There, that's better. Okay, so that's decorated our bag. So now to put the handles on. So I'm just going to use my tool there, but I'm going to mark where I put the handles on. And I'm going to use, I don't know if, can you, I don't think, if I put it over there, you can't quite see, but I've got markings on my base here. So the markings I'm using, I'll tell you as I do it just on here. I'm going about approximately, say, 2.5 to 3 centimetres in and 1 centimetre down. And I'm just going to put a mark, and I do that both sides. So 2.5 by centimetre, 2.5 or 3, something like that. But you want to have them roughly equal from here. They don't look equal. Let me just measure that. Honestly, am I useless or what? That's 2.5. That's only 2. Why have I only done that 2? Because I'm just daft. Let me move that mark along a little bit. Didn't look right. So 2.5 that should be. There we go. Just for about the first mark. You see, I always get something wrong. I don't know. That's why these are live videos, folks. Right. So I've got my marks equal, and then I've got a hole I can look through as I make the hole punch. I don't think you can see that on here, and I need to look into it anyway to find. But I can line up my hole punch then, going through both layers of my card, lining up my dots in the centre, and then I know that I've punched it where I want to punch it. I think it's a slightly bigger hole because, to be honest, my ribbon is quite big, so I want a decent sized hole for it to go through. There we go. And then the same this side, line up the pencil mark in the centre of my punch, and then I can punch the hole and know that it's in the right place. So that's punched the hole. It just remains for me to push the ribbon through. So I'm going to go from the front to the back, like that, and then the other side from the back to the front, obviously. On through, little ribbon, there we go. Then I want to make these roughly equal. So just needs to pull through a little bit further, twisting. Why do things twist when I don't want them to? Which way do I need to twist that to twist it? That way. There we go. That's better. Right. So I need to make them roughly even, and then bring my tag back in. And I can slide my ribbon through the tag, and then simply tie a bow. Now this bit is probably going to go wrong because I'm useless at tying bows on video, but hey, let's see. Oh, not too bad. It's just a bit enormous, so I'll just make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And tidy that up later, but you get the idea. That's a messy bow, isn't it? But hey, you get the idea. So I've just tied the tag on loosely there. I can write either on the back or in the middle of that tag if I wanted. And that is the bag that matches the card that we made. Let's find the one with the right DSP. There we go. Which matches the card, and that is just, get them in the middle there. That is just a really nice little gift set for somebody. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoy making it, and I will see you again soon. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and do go to craftycarolscards.co.uk where you'll find lots more ideas and videos and instructions. Hope to see you soon. Bye for now.